In the meantime, I'll start the meeting up officially. Welcome everybody to the Podman community meeting. Today is December 2nd of 2025. And we have a number of topics for today. First one is Podman in 2025 Retrospective. Matt will be talking about that shortly. And then Paul will be talking about immutable GitHub releases. And then Steve will, with fingers crossed, will be doing a Materia demo for us. And then Mohan will be introducing some UML students. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think, Neil, you're throwing in some CNCF updates, and talk about that when we get there. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Matt.
Sure. So I don't really have any slides or anything here. This will be very impromptu, but I just want to say I think that we've had a very good 2025. We had 4 releases across 2025. This was the first full year where we followed our release paradigm of 1 per quarter, once every second week of, I believe, the second month of the quarter. And we managed to hit all of those. So great job there, everyone. On the whole, we've been doing pretty well. Podman, as well as Build and Scopio, migrated into the CNCF sandbox at the beginning of the year. And since then, we've started steadily working towards getting into incubation. So hopefully some news on that soon, maybe even this meeting from Neil. And we're also doing a lot more outreach as part of this. You might have found us at KubeCon NA this year. I'm expecting that's going to be a regular thing from here on out. And we're also going to be doing a lot more conferences as well in the future, hopefully. So, yeah, on the whole, I think we are having a lot of success over here. We announced Podman 6.0 this year, and we're steadily working towards that. Expected release may remain spring of next year, so look forward to that. And, yeah, I think that one was about it for me.
You want to talk at all about 5.7.1 coming up?
Oh, sure. This is not related to Podman Retrospective, but I can say that we are expecting a fresh release of Podman with a bunch of bug fixes at some point later this month, probably next week, probably. Might make it its way into your distro a bit after that, though. Main feature of this is going to be a variety of Podman machine fixes, as well as a couple of run CCV fixes that don't really affect us, but we're going to vendor the packages in just to make security scanners stop yelling at us. Yeah. I expect that sometime next week for upstream, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Great. Thanks for the update. Any questions for Matt? Alrighty, since I'm not hearing anything, I'm going to hand over to Paul to talk about the immutable GitHub releases. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. It's maybe more of a cabal topic normally, but well, since we didn't have anything on the agenda, I throw it on here. And recently, GitHub published a new feature called Immutable Releases, which makes it so that if you create a GitHub release and have like artifacts and so on attached, you can no longer modify them. And to me, that's an interesting feature because we have various people with access to the repos, and anyone basically, I'm not quite sure what the permission level is you need to edit a release, but if you edit it, you can basically swap out the Podman installer.exe or the Mac installer or whatever, which is used by a lot of people, and as such, sort of a risk. Therefore, I think it's much better if we have the CI created release that we already have and then have it immutable so nobody can do something with it. With the obvious downside, if the created release is broken, then you cannot change it and need to do another one. So yeah, basically I just wanted to have the thoughts of everyone if they like that or don't like it or whatever.
I think I'm usually the one who messes with the releases the most. I think for the most part, it's a good idea, but again, as you said, there is the concern. There have been some times where the Podman is fine, but there's something that's gone wrong in installer, and then we like fix the installer and just rebuild it with the right version inside. We wouldn't be able to do that anymore. But the way the current CI is set up is that if any of the installers break, the release doesn't go out anyway. So I'm not sure in the current how we currently do things will affect it too much. But I think it's an interesting thing to explore.
Can we factor in pre-releases to run installer checks?
As in like RCs?
RCs, maybe even the main release, is that doable?
Like pre-release would be, I think the GitHub page says something about the recommended way is to first publish it as a draft and then looking at it, and if it's all okay, doing a full publish. But I'm not sure like if you mark something as pre-release, you'd be able to change it into a full release. Like I didn't go far enough into the docs to know about that.
Okay, yeah. Just that I have set up release immutability for Container SC Linux already, but we haven't had a new release. I just did that earlier today. I guess my only concern would be, would someone be able to uncheck that setting where we enabled release immutability? So we might need to be careful with that permission there too.
As far as I understand, if you have it on and you make a release, it's immutable, even if you undo the setting later. So somebody could still undo the repo setting, but there are much more interesting repo settings to undo if you have that kind of access.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I would +1 it if it matters.
Yeah, well, yeah, the only annoying thing is like if we have to do a separate release after because one of the installers broke, and it's the same binary and we have to do all the other processes to get into the other stuff. But yeah.
I'm generally in favor. It doesn't sound like it sounds like a nice little thing, and I doubt we'll break anything.
Any other thoughts or questions? If you have any other thoughts or questions you'd like to talk to Paul about, go ahead and contact them or get into the GitHub and take a look at the link here. All right, Steve, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to try sharing one last time?
Yeah, I'm on good old X11, so let's see if that works a little better.
Fingers crossed. Ooh, I'm seeing progress. And I see your presentation.
All right. Great. All right, that's great news. Here, I can turn on my video too, so everyone else seems to be. So, yeah, sorry, didn't expect that screen sharing issue, but I haven't used Zoom in many years, so
yeah,
I guess it's
we're all right there with you learning.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking with it and getting it back up.
But yeah, so yeah, my name's Steve Ryan. I've been working on should have fixed my lighting before this, but so this is a little project I've been working on for the past probably a little over a year at this point, called Materia, which is well, I can go to the next slide. So it is a GitOps tool for orchestrating quadlets, except it does a little bit more than just handling the actual quadlet files itself, because it is designed to handle basically the entire life cycle, where it breaks things down into components, or it has a repository, which is, normally a Git repository. Um, and that is filled with what's called components, which are kind of very similar to Ansible roles or Puppet modules or something like that. And each component has, one or more quadlet files, usually at least a container file, a few volumes, such as that. We'll show an example momentarily. And the repository also has a manifest describing what components are installed on what host. And Materia basically just pulls this repository, determines what components should be installed on the host, and installs and removes components as needed. And so it's a combination of just it not only installs quadlets but also any associated data files. It has a basic templating engine to, install secrets, both just interpolating variables into, let's say defining a port in the container file, as well as it does have a system for installing Podman secrets. Um, it can take a couple different backends, but I can get to that momentarily. And also handles, starting, stopping, restarting, reloading services as needed. Um, yeah, I have a line here. It's like, yeah, this is very heavily inspired. I used to work in a big puppet shop back in the day, which I believe Puppet's now OpenVox. I'm not familiar with that situation, but what should I call it? But it's very heavily influenced by that. And yeah, little fun fact is it comes from the alchemical term prima materia, which is the first material. It's supposed to be the building block of the alchemist's magnum opus, and it's because, well, the alternative for a lot of container orchestration seems to be Kubernetes, and Kubernetes is like magic, so quadlets are like alchemy, a little simpler, a little closer to real science. But so this is I just have a little design of what a repository looks like, since this is the just to show, yeah, what goes into it. I don't know. I don't think you can see my cursor, which is, I don't see a laser pointer mode or anything. But
Actually see it relative. It's a little small, but I can see it a little bit.
oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, I have a diagram of, so this is a Materia repository. So usually this is a GitOps workflow, so it's usually on a Git server, but technically it does not have to be. Right now, it also supports just, being in a directory on your local host. But yeah, so it has the Materia repository, which contains a manifest that just describes any necessary metadata about the repositories. So what hosts have what components, what roles are defined, extra settings, whatnot. It has a attributes folder, which just has a collection of usually encrypted, but it can just be plain text files. This I did vault.enc.yaml to represent a SOPS encrypted YAML file. And then one or more components, and then which each components, we'll take a look at this caddy component here, just contains it also contains a manifest file, which describes the metadata about the component, what services it starts, what if it uses variable or attributes at all, what the default values for the attributes are, and then stuff like that. And then, of course, it has, in the caddy example, it has the caddy container file, which will be installed into the normal quadlet location, and the caddy file, which represents, any general data file, and that gets installed to a separate location and can be templated. I install my caddy. I have this running on various servers, and it just installs, the caddy config as part of the Materia repository. And we can see we've got a caddy component. We have a can should have picked a service that I know how to pronounce the name of. But a Canid DM component. Oh, and yeah, we can see up here the manifest for the repository itself. The Materia manifest just has a basic host mapping. So host foo has the caddy component and the base role. Host bar has candidate DM. And then we have the definition of the role base, which just has the Podman exporter component. So any host with the base role will get the Podman exporter component installed on it. And so what is, the actual workflow of the of Materia is pretty simple if you're already familiar with GitOps or Puppet, like agent-based configuration management, but it syncs up with the remote repository. This can be done either I manually run mine with system D timers, but it does also have a server mode that just runs and checks to see if the Git repo has been updated every 2 minutes or so. It determines what components need to be installed, what needs to be removed, and if the components have any updated files, it will update files individually. It generates a plan, which is I'll demonstrate in a moment, but basically just the full deterministic list of instructions needed to run on the system to get into the desired state. And you can view the plan, you can dump it to a JSON file, you can do whatever with it, but normally you then just execute the plan, which actually installs the files, templates things, restarts services, all that good stuff. It can be anywhere from just, copying a file from one place to another to it does support more complicated operations like migrating data between volumes. And at the end of it, it double checks to make sure that any systemd services that were started or stopped are actually started and stopped. And yeah, so I've prepared a little demo. Let me see. How can I can just share my screen over to my
We'll say
terminal.
nice things to the demo gods.
Yeah, I've practiced this part multiple times, but we'll see if something new goes wrong.
Looks like we're seeing a screen. Yeah.
Everyone can see my terminal.
Can you bump up the size any, or is it going to mess things up for you?
Yeah, is this more readable?
It is for me.
A little bit more helps.
Yep.
Yep, sounds good.
That's good,
Steve.
All right. So yeah, this is just a little demo I made. I linked I don't know if the presentation slides are going to be part of the recording or notes, but there is a link to this demo repository in the slides. It's just on my GitHub. And this is whatchamacallit, has this folder is a Materia repository. We can see we have a Materia manifest right here, where the manifest demo host is going to have the caddy component and the base role. Just base role defined as just having the Podman exporter component. So it's just a very simple TOML files. I went with TOML files to try to keep it close to the systemd unit file INI style. We have the two aforementioned components, caddy and Podman exporter, and we can take a peek at the actual caddy component. So we can see here we have a volume, quadlets, we have another manifest. There's manifests all the way down. And we do have the caddy container itself is a template as designated by that GoTemple file type. And you can see that it is a Go style template. So you can see the container tag is defined as an attribute. So this can be set either as part of the component manifest, or this value can be set either in the component manifest. I'll show that in a moment, or it can be set in the attributes. So in that, like this example repo uses a SOPs encrypted file, but it also supports just straight age keys or age encryption, or just putting them in a variable file, for lack of a better word. No encryption or anything. We do have this mdatadir and snippet are what I've been calling macros, which are just kind of a little bit of templating shortcuts. This auto update snippet just installs or sets up the auto update line for the quadlet. But anyway, the important thing is, yeah, this is a template, is installed and templated as part of the normal Materia workflow. And we can see here we have in the defaults for the defaults attributes, we have this container tag is going to be set to latest. And we see that this component has the caddy service and is reloaded by the conf/caddy file. It doesn't have to be in a separate directory. I just like to edit my caddy files on the host sometimes, and if you do that as a bind mount, it gets weird with how Vim does the file. So, what should we call it? And we'll also just take a peek real fast. The secrets folder, we have a vault.yaml file that is a SOPS encrypted file, which, bunch of gobbledygook, but we just look at it in SOPS. We can just see that just has a single value that is the container tag set to 210 Alpine instead of the latest. But yeah, so unfortunately, I think when I logged out, I had a demo VM set up already. Unfortunately, when I logged back in, that killed it. So it'll take a moment to set up this is just going to be a standard Alma 9 Linux VM. This with a Podman and stuff like that, a few basics installed, but nothing complicated. The actual material parts I will show as part of the demo. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. Trying to think.
Cranking a little bit. Are there any questions we could ask? Anybody has?
One question. We had a demo of, no, I forgot the name. Orcus
Mm-hmm.
a while back. Have you looked at alternatives for like Quadlet GitOps, or what motivated you to go this route instead of?
Yeah, I did actually look at Orcus. I'm not sure. But yes, I looked at that, and I looked at I believe there is a project in the containers repo, Fetch It, from some time ago that did a similar thing. Both neat projects. I was very much inspired by Fetch It. I think Orcus came out after I had started working on this. But yeah, I think I guess I kept going with Materia instead of putting it behind working with one of the other projects. Is Materia handles both other projects focus more on just quadlets themselves, while this Materia handles both the quadlet and the data files. So it's a little more I don't want to say flexible, because technically it's less flexible. You have to put your quadlets in this component structure, but it's more comprehensive, I think. It's like I use this I design Materia specifically to work for. I run OpenSUSE MicroOS on my machines. It's an Atomic distro, basically. So I would have this various nodes with a very, very set like base installation, and I was just running containers on top of them. And I wanted to have just one tool that I could install as part of my base image generation that would handle everything after that, basically, to installing the quadlets, making sure the services are started, making sure data files are in place, updated, things are restarted as necessary, and yeah, the whole application lifecycle. And that's kind of what Materia focuses on, as opposed to just handling quadlets specifically. but it is, I mean, it works with quadlets. It is specifically designed to only manage quadlets and Podman related systems. But yeah, so here, so the VM's created. So this like I said, this is just a standard Alma 9 distro. This is running through the lovely Verter tool. And we just have two little shell scripts here, really just for convenience. This one creates we need two directories. Technically, we only need this varlib materia directory. That's the what I internally call the prefix, but that's where materia puts all the data files, stores the copy of the source, like a copy of the a cache of the source repository. The closest thing to state, basically, and a little Etsy materia, which it does support a config file. I'm not going to use one for this demonstration, but that's where you'd put it, or you could put it. But mostly, it just downloads the actual binary. So we'll just run that real fast. And then we do have this environment file. So it's designed to, Materia is designed to run and be configured basically entirely through environment variables. You can use a normal config file, but I personally run it as a quadlet. So I install all the config for it as environmental variables. And the big one right here is just this this source URL, which is a little self-explanatory. It's the URL that has the repository to pull. This is using a little Git shortcut one where it will automatically kind of auto-magically guess that it's a HTTP Git repo and clone it accordingly. But this could also be file : or another source. And then since the demo has templates, we need to tell it what to use to try to decrypt encrypted attributes files. So that's SOPs, and then this is just a SOP setting, that's just an H key. So we're just going to source that. And yeah, so we have the material command. We can see a few things about it. Example, if I run materia facts, we'll see, you can see here, this is where it clones the repository in the background. And you can, so this host has the base role assigned to it, and as part of it has the caddy component assigned to it, and then also Podman Explorer from the base. Doesn't have anything installed and little network information. But so we'll just, I'm sure, gone on long enough. So we'll just show off. Here's a quick plan generation. So you can see this is the exact steps that it's going to take when we actually update the host. And it's going to be, these steps will be generated in the same way every time. And it's, yeah, you can see it installs the component, which basically just means it creates the directory in varlib materia, installs the data file directory, a few quadlets, and does the same thing for the Podman exporter component, and finally reloads the host, so systemctl daemon reload, and starts the required services. And so we can just do that. So that the plan's nice if you ever want to know what's going to happen on the next materia run, or just verify that things work. But so we see that, we like that plan. So just materia update, and it outputs the plan again for convenience. But yeah, let's run the plan so we can see the containers are running. We can see in varlib materia components. In the caddy component, we have that little conf directory with the config file. And I don't actually have anything in the config file. But we can see in systemd. Sorry, at C containers systemd. You can see we have two little subdirectories, one for each component. And here we have all of the Quadlet files, and we can see for the caddy container, remember that was the templated one. And we can see it did not actually use that template, but normally it does, I swear. We can see, I must have made a typo somewhere, but we can see here if you remember this was where the snippet was that was templated in, and this volume mount. I have there's a macro for accessing the data directory, so it eases that very value is templated in too. Yeah, so that's the that's the demo. I mean, I could show, I could edit the source and remove components and show that it will remove the files and whatnot, but I think I've used up enough time as it is. So
Yeah, I was just going to give you a time check.
yeah. Yeah, so I'll just pop back to the
demos. Pop back to your slides for the more info.
Yep. And yeah, so this is just a few more links. I've got a main website here at primamateria.systems, and then the actual source code repository, a little bit more full featured example repository is here, and I have a matrix room. But yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Not hearing any at the moment.
All right.
And thanks very much, Steve, for coming and showing. It looks great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And anytime, if you have any updates or something you want to come show us in the future, feel free to give us a ping.
All right, I will.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
With that, Mohan, are you on board here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, take it away, sir.
So I just wanted to take some time to introduce a couple of UMass level students here. Andrew Sills and Jesse Taub. And do I see the others? Probably not. One of them is heading back home and the other one is sick. So anyway, so Jesse Taub and Andrew Sills have been working on Podman, and it's a capstone project. They're working through the UMass level, and they're going to help us with some RFE and bug fixes. They already started contributing a little bit with the documentation and everything. So they're going to put more focus on the RFEs starting next semester. And that's pretty much it. Jesse or Andrew, do you want to add anything or introduce yourselves a bit?
I guess right now I've been looking into issue number 62 on container libs, which is about adding like additional. Well, it was originally about updating the defaults to current Docker rules, so this default SecOp options, but the discussion there led to just having the ability to add multiple like default SecOp like JSONs that distros can add in the like config directory. So that's what I'm looking into adding right now. I asked on the element matrix channel a while ago about what the format should be. And it turns out there's like an actual map option for containers.conf. So there's that. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say. Yeah.
Thank you,
Sounds
Jesse.
great. Yeah, welcome. And thank you.
Okay. That's pretty much it. And Jesse, you were asking some question, probably, I mean, you can ask, given the time, you can ask that question. Or Tom, do we have anything else in
We
the?
have one more
Okay.
topic. So why don't we circle back for
Yes.
get the other topic in.
Yeah.
And the last topic that we have today is CNCF updates. And I think, Neil, you were driving that.
Yeah, just quick. We had a great time a few weeks ago at KubeCon. We met so many people that use Podman and Builda, etc. And they really appreciated all the hard work the community does to put these products together. And just wanted to thank everybody for your hard work and helping us do that. And as part of our CNCF journey, I put a link in the agenda that links to our current application that has not yet been submitted for incubation. So feel free to look it over if you have any comments and help make it good before we submit it, which is not going to happen in the next day or two, but we will be doing it. We still have some work to do, vendor, or is it not vendor, user verification and some other steps that have to happen. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that there's a few still open talks. It was great meeting people at KubeCon NA. KubeCon EU is around the corner. We're planning on having a booth again. If you want to help us on the booth, let us know. We also would love to see you when you're there. If you go to the KubeCon EU, we're also going to be going to, some of us will be at the maintainer summit in there as well. And we'd love to see you. And you have an opportunity now to be submitting talks to those tracks. So do so. And then we'll all catch up. Maybe we'll do a couple of Podman tracks at the maintainer summit. I saw several projects doing that last year. Okay, and that's it. If anybody has any questions.
Heard that Amsterdam in the late March is pretty.
Yes, yes. And you can always book a hotel and then figure it out later and cancel if you can't go. So, because hotels are probably the most important thing to. Miloslav, you're going to go? I saw him. Go off me.
You put him on the spot.
Yeah.
He ran away.
Yeah. Please meet us there. And always, we love getting more asks and things from the community and looking forward to keeping that up. That was it for me.
Any questions about that, or did anybody have other topics they wanted to discuss?
Yes, I'm Martin Beckert from Germany. I hope you can hear me because I
Yes,
haven't
we can,
tested it.
Martin.
Yeah, that's nice. So I asked 2 weeks ago in the Discord channel about the state of the Podlet repository because that lays in the containers organization, like Podman also does. And the problem is that Podlet has no maintainer since about a year because the guy named Paul Nettleton isn't there anymore, and I don't know if that project will go any further within the next month. And I really need a working Podlet because I want to contribute some documentations and I need it for my projects, and it's failing a lot. I also found out that one sentence. Podlet is failing also because of 2 other projects that lay in the Paul Nettleton private repositories, and these ones need also to be updated. And so there are 3 projects not working currently, and therefore Podlet is failing all the time.
Hi, Martin.
Hi.
I talked to Paul today.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and he would love help and is open to us sort of helping him get help as owners of the containers org. So as far as you being able to help, I think that would be just fine. We can arrange this. If you'll work with me offline, I can begin to maybe give you some authority to be able to do some things with the GitHub repo, and we'll get you going.
Okay, so some words about me. I'm currently not a Rust developer, but I'm interested in doing some easy tasks in Rust, and I would like to contribute as a maintainer, not as the only one maintainer, but I would like to help out on that side. So maybe we get it on a few shoulders.
Yeah, I think you take the risk of when you become helper maintainer, you become the default maintainer. So there is risk that you become the maintainer.
I understand that.
Though you too can help recruit, people to come in and help as well once you're part of the project. So I think on Discord, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, or sometime probably in the morning, since you're in Germany, my morning, your afternoon. We can work to get you added. Or Paul Holzinger, who's also in Germany, could theoretically help you as well. I believe, Paul, you have admin on containers.org. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Paul, I'll copy you into my communication with the other Paul, and just so you have that, and you understand where he was coming from.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I will have a chat in Discord with you tomorrow, with you
Sounds
or
good.
Paul, and let's see how we can introduce myself into the project so everyone has an idea who I am, and let's see if that works out.
Very well.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, that's great. And Martin, let me know if I put in the wrong project inside the chat there. I think I got it. It's Podlet on containers.
That's correct, yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. And any other questions, comments? People are thinking a little bit. I'll just do next meeting reminders. So the next Podman community meeting will be on Tuesday, February 3rd, again at 11 a.m. And the next cabal meeting will be Tuesday, January 6th, so a few days after the holidays. So everybody will be ready and roaring to go, I'm sure, by then. And one last call for questions, comments, and if not, yes, Mohan.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the liberty here and put Jesse on spot. Jesse, you were asking some question. Probably this is a great opportunity to ask your question and have it answered.
I don't really think that's an appropriate question for the whole meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Back to you, Tom.
Last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks everybody for attending, especially the folks who were presenting today, Steve and Matt and everyone else. And for the folks on the East Coast, time for lunch. For the folks over in Europe, enjoy your day. Have a good evening, and thanks all.